Hey everybody, we had so much fun singing and reading to Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons in Zoom this week, so I thought I would bring it here to share. Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons, created and illustrated by James Dean, and the story was created by Eric Litwin. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much, he sang this song. Now remember, almost any book has lots of counting, lots of shapes, measurement, time. Lots of books can be used to practice math, but this one is particularly fun. And here's his song. Do you know this song? I saw some of you singing in Zoom. Here we go. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Pop. Boing, 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 boing. Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons do you see? 1, 2, 3. 3 buttons are left. 4 groovy buttons minus 1 groovy button is 3 groovy buttons. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Because buttons come and buttons go. So he just kept singing his song. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. Pop. Boing, 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 boing. Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? We have 3. 1 popped off. Did you say 2? You're correct. 2. 3 groovy buttons minus 1 groovy button is 2 groovy buttons. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go, and he just kept singing his song. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. You know what happens next, right? Pop! Boing, 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 boing. Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? How many do you see? How many ice cream do you see? How many little holes are in a button? Look at all that counting. Did you say 1 button was left because 2 groovy buttons minus 1 groovy button leaves? Just 1 groovy button. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Because everybody knows buttons come and buttons go. He just kept singing his song. My buttons, my 1 groovy button. My buttons, my 1 groovy button. which is my favorite color. It's red. Pop. Oy, 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 oy. Oh no! The last button popped off and it rolled away. How many buttons are left? 0, did you say? 1 groovy button minus 1 groovy button is 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt. And what do you think he saw? His belly button. That's funny. And he just kept singing his song. My button, still have my belly button. Do you have a belly button? Touch it. My button, my belly button. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness, no. We'll just keep on singing. Buttons come and buttons go.